Joining me now is Jake Childers, who's going to be fighting as a reserve in Combate Global's lightweight tournament next week. Jake, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm excited to be a part of the event. I'm just excited to get back to fighting, and like I said, I'm just excited all in all. Like I said, how about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Um, Now you're fighting Mikey Gonzalez, if I recall, in the reserve bout for Combate Global. Um, are you are you at all frustrated that you got the reserve bout and that you're not in the actual tournament?
Well, to be honest, I just heard about this about a couple weeks ago, so I'm just honestly excited to be a part of the whole thing. And like I said, I'm just hoping I get into the tournament and just get available to be a take a part of a spot and everything like that. But yeah, I'm just excited to be there. Like I'm just ready to win and win some money.
All right. And um, if it's like the other tournaments that Combate Global's held, um, the opening rounds are one round, 1 5-minute round. How are you training differently to sort of focus on getting the win in a 1 round fight?
Well, in a one round fight, you obviously got to push the pace a little bit faster, and like I said, do what you have to do to win. Like I said, I obviously not going to throw a big game plan around, but at the same time, like I said, you just got to go out there and set a pace and do what you have to do to show what you have to do to win.
There you go. And like I mentioned, your opponent's going to be Mikey Gonzalez. Fought on the Contender Series. He's had some experience recently doing some jujitsu and combat jujitsu competitions. Just give me your thoughts on him and as an opponent and how you see the fight going.
He seems like a very tough opponent. He seems like a great striker. Throws a lot of leg kicks. Just a very tricky guy. Like I said, just to get around. And like I said, I feel like in the long run, I can expose him in different areas, and I'm just excited to see how it goes.
All right. And looking at the rest of the bracket, what are your thoughts on the rest of the bracket and um who do you see yourself facing if you were to step up into the quarterfinals?
To be honest, I haven't seen anybody who's in the rest of the bracket. I have one opponent, and that's all I'm focused upon. And like I said, the rest of the bracket, I don't even know who's in the tournament. I don't know anything upon that. I was approached just about 2 weeks ago, and like I said, I'm ready to go in there and just win the whole thing regardless. I don't give a shit.
Fair enough. Um so you've lost your last two fights. Your last one to Kanan Kawhi, you didn't really have much of a chance to get going. Um have you done anything to sort of change your training up at all? Or are you just sort of staying the course knowing that you can get back on track?
Well, very recently, we've gotten away from our team. We've my head striking coach has gotten like away from our jiu-jitsu coach and stuff like that. A lot of things have happened in our team and everything like that, and we are changing. And like I said, so I've gotten a lot of different things and strategies and things that have happened in my life and everything like that, in our life with the team and everything like that. So like I said, we've definitely have a lot of new people to train with, and we've learned a lot more.
All right, so a lot more clarity and a lot more focus with new people coming in and all of
Yeah,
that.
we've basically got a new team. Like so, we went to another place.
And where is that place?
It's Peoria Athletic Club.
Okay. Um, Now, um, with a nickname like the Working Man, you seem to be a guy who doesn't care much for nonsense. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on some of the more nonsensical things in the fighting world, such as, I guess, firstly, your thoughts on Jake Paul and the whole celebrity boxing scene.
Mm, if anybody can go out there and get their money, I feel like that's a big thing to me. Like I said, I fought for a long time. I have a lot of amateur fights, and I didn't get paid for any of them. So I feel like if anybody can go out there and fight and get paid, I mean that's good for them.
And along similar lines of like the entertainment era, that it just doesn't seem like something you're incredibly interested in. Um, you just seem to me like a no nonsense sort of guy. But with Colby Covington fighting this weekend, fighters like him obviously love to talk and do a lot of talking to hype up fights. Um, I assume that's not sort of your way of thinking about things and going about fights. But have you ever felt sort of like an opponent has, made it personal, or you've gotten um, really upset with a fighter outside of just training for or having them as an opponent?
Not really. I always look at every fight as like a guy that wants to disrespect me, and I always like train as that. But like, I really don't think of an opponent as anything until actually I see him on weigh-in night and I see him face to face, because that's when you really see a guy, if he's going to be disrespectful or if he's going to be whatever. But I never take words for anything. Like, people say whatever just to hype a fight up, but like when you're staring a guy dead in the face, that's when you know if he's going to do whatever. And most of them, like I said, just shake your hand and say thank you and kind of walk away.
Fair enough. Um, so obviously, not really much of a guy in terms of social media, in terms of engagement with that and all of that. Is there a particular reason behind that, or are you just sort of focusing on fighting and don't really care for that kind of engagement? Feel like it's a distraction or what?
I honestly, I work a lot. I've made more money working than I have in MMA. So in the long run, I mean, my girlfriend has pushed me more towards the Instagram and doing more stuff like that and making my own fan page. But in the long run, in my opinion, like I said, I've tried and I've like to get people to like me. I've tried to get people to do whatever, and I just never had a fan base, even in my own hometown, until I started going to the LFA and I started doing stuff, and then they started. So like, I just feel like there's no reason for me to do that. If I just train, fight, do my thing, and I just want to show my capability of everything. Like, so I feel like me talking, nobody wants to hear that shit. So I just fight. That's how I feel.
Understood. Understood. Just excuse me. Um, what was I going to ask? So when you were growing up, was what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, what would be 5-year-old Jake's dream job?
Honestly, I don't know. I never knew what I wanted to be. I never knew what I wanted to do. I just knew, honestly, everything they were teaching in school wasn't for me. Like, if that makes sense. I just never knew what I would do, and I was always good working with my hands, and I just never knew where I'd be. And like I said, I just honestly, I everything where I am now has just kind of fallen to my lap, and it's been, like I said, a good life. I never thought I was going to fight MMA. I just started wrestling, and then I honestly watched the first episode of the Ultimate Fighter of the season. Sorry, and then like we started having fun as friends in high school, and then it just kind of grew upon that, and it's just kind of, like I said, it's just, I just honestly never thought I'd be where I am right now. I just never knew I would be, and I don't know. It was just, life was always just never planned.
At what moment when you started training MMA, excuse me, did you realize that you could make a living off of it, and that's something that you could do professionally?
Well, I wrestled ever since I was little, and I always like, I fought in the backyard, with my friends and stupid stuff like that, and I always like felt confident. But it was when I started fighting with Central Illinois Combat Club that I really started to realize my potential and everything like that. But my coach just kept me as an amateur for a long time because he knew that's what I needed, like, to develop. You just don't want to ever start too soon. And like I said, he started to be at the right time. And like I said, I feel like I just had the great, like I said, I've had a good professional career from now on. Like I said, and it's just, like I said, I just appreciate everything that he's done.
There you go. Um, I'm going to ask you one more question, just sort of off topic before we wrap it up. Um, give me your best joke. Like if someone were to ask you, um, gun to your head, like, you better make me laugh, tell me a joke. What you got?
Well, one thing I used to always say to people, uh, people used to always say, if you're at a party, like 'cause I used to go to a lot of parties and do stuff and just mess around with people and everything like that, and they would always say, "I ain't scared of you, man." And not that I was trying to intimidate anybody, but they'd say like, "I'm not scared of you," and I just look at them and be like, "You ain't got to be scared to get your ass whooped." Like, and that was just they're just always just get a good kick out of that and just start laughing and everything like that. So that was just always like a little icebreaker.
Is there a big thing where when you tell people you're a fighter, they start acting more macho and saying like, "Oh, I'm like you said, I'm not afraid of you." Is that is a real thing?
In the beginning days, like when I was first starting to fight and everything like that, but like once people actually know, like I've been fighting for about 9 years now. So like said now they just like, "Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?" And they're like super friendly and like everybody's super cool. But like when I was like in my first days, like when I was amateur fighting, doing this, I'd be at parties and people would be like, "Oh, like you think you're a fighter, this and this," and like it never really started off in anything crazy, but it was always just people just being testy.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Um, before I let you go, are there any sponsors or any people on your mind that you want to thank or give shout outs to or anything?
Like I said, I would just like to thank everybody. Like I said, my family and everything like that. Just everybody like that. They're just gonna support me. Like I said, everybody that's gonna watch the show and everything like that for the fights and like that. I'm just in the long run. Last time, I'm just excited to get out there and show everybody what I'm about.
Once again, Jake Childers is fighting in the reserve bout for next Friday night's Combate Global lightweight tournament. Jake, thank you for your time and good luck in your fight next week.
Thank you.